freedom fighter, and you'll have people like Rachel Dolezal saying, you know, I identify with him. He's like a George Washington. He's one of our patriots. You don't think this is going on in our universities? You don't think that the leftists are poisoning your children's minds with this lie? You don't think that these neo-Nazis disguised as liberals are poisoning your children, telling them that the Muslim killers are simply defending themselves against an imperialist America? You don't think this poison is seeping into the minds of your children? I got another guess coming for you. Now, the poison coming out of the Pope is another story we have to talk about. The man is a liar. The man is a criminal. The man has crossed the barrier between politics and religion. And I resent the Pope. I don't care how big his cross is. It doesn't matter to me. He's a Marxist through and through. I don't care how white his robes are. He doesn't belong in this nation lying about climate change. He has no right to do that. None whatsoever. And I don't know how any fair-minded Catholic cannot be as outraged as I am. Do you realize what Marxism he is espousing here? The Pope put out a 192-page encyclical on global warming. That is a complete lie and fraud. All it is the environmentalist movement and the Marxist movement combined. He lambasts the rich. He says the rich loot the world. He attacks bankers and climate skeptics for accelerating its decline. Well, let me tell you something, Popey. I am a climate skeptic, and I'm a trained scientist. You don't know you're behind from climate. I know more about climate than you do. You liar, you. He then goes on to the big lie, saying the world is facing widespread crop failure, economic ruin, mass migration, destruction of entire ecosystems. It's all rubbish. The most advanced weather station in the world has just reported that we are in a 10-year cooling cycle. How dare this fraudulent Pope, who to me is no better than Rachel Dolezal, not be challenged by every Catholic with a college education in the world. And I'll pause right here and be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust to protect my wealth with gold and silver. Call 800-BUYCOIN.
We have people that aren't working. We have people that have no incentive to work. But they're going to have incentive to work. Because the greatest social program is a job. And they'll be proud, and they'll love it, and they'll make much more money than they would have ever made. And they'll be doing so well, and we're going to be thriving as a country. Thriving. It can happen. I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. I tell you that. I'll bring back our jobs from China, from Mexico, from Japan, from so many places. I'll bring back our jobs, and I'll bring back our money.
Well, we have a realist like Donald Trump, and let's pray that he's real and really wants to run and not undermine a Republican for Hillary's sake. Given that I'm cynical and that the world of politics is filled with curveballs, I feel obligated to throw that out there because we saw what Ross Perot did to elect Clinton. Then we have a phony like the Pope. So the Pope feels that he knows something about global warming. Yeah, does he feel that? The Pope is the Rachel Dolezal of climate science. What, because he feels that he knows something about climate science? He knows something about it? When did he get his PhD? When did this Marxist imposter get his PhD in climate science? When did this Marxist imposter think that the world would buy this garbage? It's environmentalism 101. And he's attacking capitalism. He's attacking the rich. He wants to take money out of your pocket for Marxist reasons. He's asked for a new global political authority to reduce pollution. And I warned you about a world tax. This man is one of the most dangerous popes in the history of the human race. Don't sit there and tell me because he's a pope he is super normal. Are you people that stupid that you don't understand where he was, who handpicked him? Ask yourself a question. The first non-European pope in 1,200 years, where did he come from? A Marxist nation. What was he steeped in? Liberation theology. What is his political orientation? Communist. What, because he wears a white robe and a big cross, I have to get on my hands and knees? Not me. Not me. Now, I've defended the Pope before, other popes, and I'm not a Catholic. So don't accuse me of being an anti-Catholic. This man is a dangerous communist who wants to steal the money of the middle class. And if he really meant what he was saying, the Pope, he ought to give up the Vatican plane and sell off some of the art in the Vatican, some of the finest art in the world, worth many billions of dollars. Give it to the poor. And he really ought to invite some poor Africans in to have dinner with him. He ought to order a couple of pizzas all around for an African village. The day they invite some Africans into the Vatican, let me know about it. What hypocrisy. They live like kings of medieval kings, and they sit and espouse this rubbish about global warming right out of some university crackpot's playbook. Who do you think wrote this garbage for him? Another communist in the Vatican. Because he says it's true? So these are the topics. Trump, the meddlesome Pope, and the race scandal. It's all good. Listen to Matt Lauer interviewing the race hustler in clip 11.
When did it start?
I would say about 5 years old.
You began identifying yourself as African American?
I was drawing self-portraits with the brown crayon instead of the peach crayon, and the black, black curly hair, and that was how I was portraying myself.
So because she's a psychotic, I have to believe her? There's some people who think they're Jesus when they're 5 years old. They usually get medication and deep therapy. So now what? Because she was caught as being a psychotic fraud, I have to believe her? Unbelievable to me. When I was 5 years old, I used to dress up in cowboy outfits. I had 2 6 guns, I thought, but they were cap guns. And anyone who came into the apartment that I lived in the Bronx, I shot him dead in the doorway. Bang, bang, bang went the cap guns. I thought I was Tom Mix and Gene Autry combined. But all I really was a little boy with cap guns. But I knew my parents knew I'd outgrow the cap guns and the little outfit they bought for me. They thought it was cute. But this woman never outgrew her psychosis, apparently. And look how far she's gone with it. Well, it worked for Obama. I mean, why go any further than Obama? Look how far he's gotten on his fraud. Right?
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
I'm a free trader. But the problem with free trade is you need really talented people to negotiate for you. If you don't have talented people, if you don't have great leadership, if you don't have people that know business, not just a political hack that got the job because he made a contribution to a campaign, which is the way all jobs just about are gotten. Free trade is terrible. Free trade can be wonderful if you have smart people. But we have people that are stupid. We have people that aren't smart. And we have people that are controlled by special interests. And it's just not going to work.
Good. Good. I'll vote for him. If he runs on the Republican ticket and doesn't suck votes off the Republican candidate to elect Hillary, and he selects Ben Carson or someone who's a true conservative as a running mate, I'll know he's real. If, on the other hand, he pulls a Ross Perot, then we'll know it's a Rachel Dolezal candidacy. Sorry. I'm very cynical. I consider Donald a good man, but I'm not going to be hoodwinked just because I eat at his buffet. We live in too dangerous a time to allow Hillary Clinton to become anything. She's only fit to be librarian at the Clinton Library as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, that's my opinion. What's your opinion? 855-400-7282. The issues are 3. The Pope's mischief on climate, the race scandal, and would you vote for Trump? It's a very, very simple bill of fare today on the Savage Nation. Very simple bill of fare. Let's go to some of the callers. Line 1, Brian, K Eugene Radio, up in Eugene, Oregon. Hi, Brian. What's on your mind?
Thank you, sir. I believe that Rachel, what's her name, is nothing more complicated than a gigantic liar who lied to get a job. Then she was uncovered, so she has to continue lying to cover herself, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger. All she's doing is creating this huge, involved backstory to make her lie look more acceptable.
But the left is justifying her lie about feeling black, so therefore she is black. They're the ones who started this with the transsexual business. That if you're a man, you feel like a woman, fine, you're a woman. You're a woman, you feel like a man, fine, you're a man. They're the one who started this. And we warned America what would happen if we went along with the psychosis.
You're exactly right.
And I'm not backing off from my position. I don't care if you're gay. That's the way you are. Good luck to you. That's what you feel like doing. But don't fool yourself. You're born in a man's body, you're a man. You feel like a woman, so what are you? You're gay, that's all. What do you have to make a big deal out of it and start twisting reality? Well, you want reality to conform to your reality. That's the problem. That's called psychosis. That's the classic definition of a psychotic. And then you want the whole world to go along with it, or else they're evil. They're homophobic, or they're racist, or this or that. You know, this is a very sensitive point I'm about to make. But let's talk about Barack Obama. He identifies as a black president, doesn't he? Is he a black president? Well, his mother was white. I'm sorry. His grandparents were white on her mother and father. Why don't we ever hear he's the first biracial president? Why must we buy the big lie that he's the first black president? When did he become black? When identified as a left-wing black. Suddenly the left said, okay, he says he's black, therefore he's black. So what is he? What is his race? He's a multiracial man. He's a biracial man, rather. But he's gotten away with it, hasn't he? So why shouldn't she get away with it? I wouldn't be surprised if she's not made some kind of department head somewhere in his company called the United States government. It's sickening. Look, the whole thing is upside down because we have an imposter in the White House. As far as I'm concerned, we have an imposter in the White House who's destroying the world. And as a result, we have all of these lunatics getting away with what they're doing now because everyone's justifying in order to justify what he's doing to us. I'm sending you a copy of Countdown to Mecca for Father's Day. Stay on the line. The next soundbite is unbelievable. Lauer asks her in clip 12. I'm very surprised with Matt Lauer. He gets an anti-Pinocchio prize for this in clip 12. Listen to this one.
When did you start deceiving people?
Well, I do take exception to that because it's a little more complex than me identifying as black or answering a question of are you black or white. I was actually identified when I was doing human rights work in North Idaho as first transracial. And then when some of the opposition to some of the human rights work I was doing came forward and started, the next newspaper article identified me as being a biracial woman. And then the next article, when there were actually burglaries, nooses, etc., was this is happening to a black woman. And I never corrected.
Well, why didn't you correct it? You knew it wasn't true.
Well, because it's more complex than, being true or false.
You hear it? Do you hear this psychosis? There's no truth and no falsehood anymore. Liberalism is not only a mental disorder, it's a lie. Liberalism is a lie through and through. This woman should be run out of town on a rail. How could the black community put up with her? I don't even understand how a black radical can take this. I don't understand how one of the most vocal black nationalists could take this without outrage. Why don't they speak out? Where's Louis Farrakhan on this? Where's Al the phony Sharpton on this? Where's Jesse Jackson on this? Are they not offended? I'm offended, and I'm not black. This is a disgusting example of using race as a weapon to get ahead. And by the way, I have to say I'm shocked that Matt Lauer asked such real questions. I don't know what got into him. When did he grow a pair? I must have missed something. Maybe the hair transplants had an effect on another part of his body. Listen to clip 13.
Some people have said that the way you've changed your opinion is akin to putting on blackface. And Jonathan Capehart wrote in the Washington Post, blackface remains highly racist no matter how down with the cause a white person is. Do you understand what he means by that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you agree with it?
I have a huge issue with blackface. This is not some free birth of a nation mockery blackface performance. This is on a very real, connected level. How I've actually had to go there with the experience,
Good God.
Not just a visible representation,
God.
but with the experience.
Can you see what goes on in the universities and in these civil rights groups? Do you hear the rubbish that they